the South American super team up against a North American powerhouse, and I can't believe Wavepunk disrespected you like that. You think your duo would know you a little better.
It's max respect, though. If I just became Daz, I just got a whole lot cooler. So that's totally okay with me. But I think Regan summed it up pretty nicely. Lots of potential here for FURIA. They do have a lot of pieces of the puzzle that can match up quite well against G2. It's just a matter of, do they actually have the execution to make that happen?
And there isn't really a question at this point. Everybody has seen Jan pop off. This guy is a mechanical monster for FURIA, but you can't forget Card, King Card. He has looked pretty solid so far this weekend. G2, though, taking the first shot in front of the box.
And another thing to make sure you keep your eye on, FURIA, that defense will be tested to be sure. G2 certainly quite an aggressive team from North America, and no strangers to putting a lot of pressure on net. So you need to make sure you keep control of your corner boosts. You got to stay disciplined and make sure you don't get in each other's way. Great clear from Jan to get it out and force G2 to reset.
Also collected some boost on top of it. Actually wins the ball in the corner. G2 trying to find a way out, but Kaio's got the pass to Card, and it's a wide open net. FURIA get the first.
It's classic G2 here. Yeah, we're going the other way. Cool. And both Dries and Chicago, you cannot fathom why Dries thinks that that's his ball to go for. You should be able to see Chicago coming up with you from that line. Straight bumps into him, gives up an open one. Classic G2 blunder. They give a free one up.
Definitely a head scratcher, and not how you want to start out if you're G2. Here's another shot denied. A little high anyway, Card takes it out. And much needed early confidence for FURIA. The desk talked about, the hype chamber experience leaning towards G2, but FURIA already with control, got the pop over another one, forced the third man, Dries, to pick up the save. Kaio, another shot, bounces off the post on the roller.
Gotta love the pressure from FURIA whenever they've gotten the opportunity. Able to squeeze one by, that's a big miss from JNAPS. Forces Dries to kind of just dump it off, and somehow FURIA were not able to gain clean possession, and G2 have rallied from a poor position.
But it's Jan behind the ball on the dribble, gets underneath the defender. Dries is able to clear it away again, but this is going to be Card giving Kaio a chance. Pops it back over to Dries. And FURIA need that 50 in midfield. They get it. Kaio's first behind the ball. Air dribble towards the box. Can't get a shot on target. Jan finds the ball for free. Nobody from G2 able to challenge.
And they're all kind of up here staring at this air dribble from Kaio. You see Dries is the one rotating back post. He goes all the way up the backboard, and unfortunately JNAPS is rotating in from the other corner, and they both kind of stop in the same spot, expecting Dries to be the one to come up with that clear, take it away off of that final touch. He just comes up empty with it, and everyone on G2 stopped thinking about playing defense, and no one rotated out the opposite side of the net.
It feels like everything that could go wrong at the start of the game is going wrong for G2. A couple of misses, and then that open net earlier, and FURIA are in front again. This time Chicago is able to clear the ball out, but yeah, Jan pops it over one. He's got the ceiling and still control, but he actually lost it. And now a chance for G2 on the other side. Dries shot off the post, and bounces out, and they somehow don't get a goal.
I thought for sure that was going to be a goal. They had the 2-on-1 pressure going. They were putting the guy in the worst position possible on defense. Another demo comes through for G2, and welcome clear for FURIA. Kyle going to go steal some boost, and gosh, that's a head scratcher how G2 just didn't get that one in.
These touches from FURIA in G2's corner too. You saw Jan do it earlier after he stole the boost. He stole the ball away, but hang on. Oh, a save off the crossbar. Somehow Kaio comes up with a save.
See Card as well. He's not really thinking about whether or not G2 is actually going to be there, but he knew he would be first to it, and he would rather take his chances again, popping it straight off that backboard as hard as he can to try and take it away from anybody on G2 who may or may not be right behind that ball.
This is a good look for JNAPS. Gets underneath Card. Kaio comes right in across the box to take out the opportunity. And look at the space Kaio has underneath the ball on the air dribble, forces the next man up to get the ball. It's JNAPS, pass in front, cut off, and G2 are going to have to work for this in the corner, but they can't win that 50. Card gets it away from him. Wow. A beautiful follow-up from Jan.
You gotta love the intuition from Jan there to cut across the pitch, cut inside the rotation of his teammate, because he knows he's going to have a better line for what G2 plans to do with that ball. Breaks him out of what could have been a potentially awkward spot, as again, Card rotating back to net, able to tip one out.
The G2 are getting shots, they're coming, but somehow FURIA are always ready for a save, be it bang it off the crossbar, or just be in the right spot for it. G2 cut off again here in midfield. Card with control. Card underneath it. He's got Kyle waiting for it, and it just bounces around. G2, quick transition, hard shot. Nobody's back, and G2 finally on the board.
They finally catch Furia one step too far forward. Card kind of caught out there at the midfield line. Great dump from JNaps to Drees, and boy, he put something on that one. Card was actually on his way back too, but 123 kph. I mean, he smashed that thing.
Gonna be hard to get back no matter where you were. Pop up high for Card. He's pushed off on the 50-50. G2 get behind it again, but Jan's behind it. G2 are forced back to the corner. Another boost steal for Kaio, but he loses the 50 this time, so G2 can break out. But Jan getting that ball back up for Kaio. It's knocked away again. G2 winning the last couple of 50s here to try to push towards Furia's half.
Oh, great dribble from Card coming off the backboard there. I mean, you had to work your way around your own teammate. Jan under pressure, able to deflect another shot from G2.
Oh.
And not that one as well. Card putting on a defensive masterclass this game.
Oh, every time he's coming up with a save in traffic as well. Card still on target, but it's taken away. A nice bounce for G2 for the tie. JNaps challenge in front. Card puts it down. Ooh. No, it's still in the air. Popped up. Can they get the shot? Furia will take game one.
That was the question for me. You knew they were going to be under pressure. Can they handle it? Absolutely. Well played game one from Furia. You can see there the save column. That's 10 saves against the 12 shots from G2. And certainly not an easy game, and they capitalized on the few opportunities they did get, if you want to count 8 as few, or 7, excuse me.
Just a couple. I mean, Furia were doing such a good job just handling the boost in the G2 half, but for G2, just struggling to get those consistent clears, and it's been difficult for them to handle the ball. They got that one hard pass in front of the third that led to a goal. They caught Furia out of position, but that was the only time Furia were out of position. Card so many times in traffic, someone trying to bump him, made a lot of incredible saves.
Yeah, excellent showing from Furia. The question is, can you continue to afford that level of pressure from G2 against you? Yes, you can play well, but the consistency required to continue to keep that up, as James said, you'd much rather be the ones driving pace of play, putting the shots on target. I'm a big believer of offense is more valuable than defense as well, as awkward start to game 2 for Furia, but they, again, turned G2 aside. And that's really what you're looking for here. You did a great job in game 1. You stopped a lot of what could have been very dangerous, and you just need to find a way to create more of your own offense here if you're Furia.
JNaps up high, sets up Chicago,
oh
and
my
Card was in the air already, covering the other option. Card, hello? That was crazy.
That's one you got to ask him about. I mean,
what were you doing there?
What defensive manual did you go and read? Because it must be a brilliant thing.
We play in the same version of Rocket League. I'm not sure. Jan steals the boost away, and G2 will be able to flip it out this time. Quick pass in front, but Card is there again. Jan able to push that ball forward, and G2, they've tried to get those passes in front. They've tried to get more creative. Chicago punches this one high, and again, Card gets in the way, but here comes another shot, and it's in for Drees.
They finally cracked Furia on defense. Card, this is a great first save. Great touch from Chicago there to take it away from Kaio, and Drees just had a thin line to get that one inside. Card was defending the wide part of the net. He's jumping out to where the easiest shot to place that ball is for Drees from that angle. And in that regard, he played that about as well as you could ask. But Drees, picture-perfect shot. Nailed the short line to the net.
That was like the third different look G2 gave Furia on offense as well. You had JNaps earlier try to take that high pass off the backboard with a quick shot in front of the box, but Card was able to block that. And Card was just blocking any kind of opportunity that they had. So, you know, but G2 get enough of them, they'll finally find the back. Furia up in front of the ceiling here. Kaio kicks it above Chicago, but don't think this is going to be a play for Furia yet. They do retain midfield.
Kind of thought that was going to be the opportunity where Furia really needed to score, believe it or not. No, they left it open. They thought they were going to get away for free here, I believe. Drees is kind of just waiting on JNaps to bring the ball back down, and no one notices Chicago in that back corner getting the bump on Jan. They think, yeah, someone's back there, we're going to be okay. And then just like that, the ball's dished down in the middle. They get beat to it, and no one's back there to save them.
G2 finally able to convert on a couple of these opportunities, ones that they did have in game number 1. Furia just making fantastic saves. This time, Furia's defense crumbling a little bit in game 2, but look at Jan. Oh, Jan almost got the goal, saved, and is taken back to the corner. Still going to push for Furia. Dries misses the ball.
Oh,
Kyle wasn't expecting it, and Card can't get back.
I mean, the dribble on the first attempt was brilliant. They just mis-executed the flick, and the second one they catch him on an open net. That one doesn't get a shot put on target either, and that was kind of the big thing. It's like, Furia, you got away with it in the last game. You could afford to play defense because you had the lead. Here they have nothing, and they're not even converting the chances, and surprising to say the least.
Oh, Card just gave that one right back to Dries. Kyle gets over him, and quick from Jan to get that ball back to the corner. Trying to reach Chicago's touch. He loses that one. Kyle will win the 50, bumps Chicago out. And G2, they're in a perfect spot to be able to retain this lead. Push the ball forward, win your next 50, and waste a little more time on the clock. Furia just trying to dump the ball away, but they're keep being met by orange cars.
They really need to have a higher degree of control when they start getting these touches, and that's a great bump from Kyle going forward. Card trying to convert it into the top left corner. Watch G2 here as they try and defend this. They all bite on Kyle. You can see them just redirect right there. JNAP is trying to adjust for Card to be the one to go and get it. He gets smashed out of the way, and Card somehow able to turn in a second touch to beat 2 defenders. I don't know how they pulled that one out of the hat, but what a play from Furia.
That was good stuff from Card. He gets that just a little bit of space. He didn't need a lot of it. But like you said, just that bite that G2 gave them, that inch, and then all of a sudden it's in the back of their net. Excellent job from Kyle and Card. Card back into the corner. Gonna push this one back up. And Furia all of a sudden back in it. JNAP's trying to fall back down onto that ball. He will keep it away, but
great
Jan
challenge.
Able to kill the ball in front of the corner. And like you said, a good challenge, but Furia can't really progress forward. In fact, G2 have control. Light shot should be turned away. Jan able to push it back out.
How do you handle this if you're Furia? We've got a minute 20 remaining. Still not really having the degree of command that you would like to have on the offensive side of the ball. Again, you're just looking for them to find some touches more in the realm of approachability even for Furia. I don't think the dump and chase is really going to get the job done versus the G2 defense, because G2 really only gets caught out leaving the net completely open when a challenge goes like horrifically wrong for them. They're thinking, cool, it's time to go, and they just get caught out because it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and it's not even how Furia want to play. They don't want to dump and chase. When this team is at their best, they're passing the ball in the third.
Exactly.
They're finding the weaknesses in front, but they just haven't been able to do that. These challenges have been difficult for them to get by, and that's credit to G2's defense, able to kill these possessions that they've tried to put on.
Ooh. So aggressive from Kyo there. They had the initial second man of the rotation get bumped out, and they know they have to push if they're on Furia. As again, Jan is able to stalemate one. This is a tough one to ask for, and straight down into Chicago. JNAPS cuts back in and gets the nice long clear for G2, clearing a lot of space. JNAPS is going to follow it the length of the pitch, turn it in, and Furia probably looking at a tied series.
And that was a tough one for Kyo to handle. He was already so close to that ball. He had to try to at least put that ball or take a shot in front of the box, and that challenge went the worst possible way it could have. Furia weren't ready for it on the rotation, and the third man just keeps getting caught out, whether it be from a bad 50 or just not seeing one player on the pitch. The awareness from Furia has been suspect on Forbidden Temple. Now G2, it's a good return to form for them in game number 2. Card going to take this one up, but G2 have Forbidden Temple squarely in their control. Chicago putting that one up, and this ball touches the ground. We'll head to game 3.
I love it. Okay, I thought Dries was maybe going to be a nice guy. Let him put that one in. Anyway, great show for you here from G2. Nice early lead, had no troubles hanging on to it. And Furia just need the, it's like, refinement of any good thing. It takes a little bit of extra time, you think, and that offense started to get going a little bit there towards the end of game 2. They just need a little more precision in terms of their approach. I mean, it's really all about that first touch, I think, for Furia going into the remainder of this series. If you can start keeping that a lot closer and give yourselves the opportunities to let your mechanics shine, things are going to be looking a little bit better for them over on the offensive side. And for those of you who may be wondering, unfortunately for Tokyo Verdy, they were swept in their B-Stream matchup against Air Eternity. So it's not looking good for them, but I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and find out what Orb just found out in the Swiss Abyss.
All right, well, I've taken a seat, okay? I've taken a seat. Jorbian achieves. My beloved G2, they're doing this, right? My beloved G2 is doing this. Carlos has told me that I have to root for G2 openly and proudly and loudly, so that's what I'm here to do. I have now been told by admins to please keep your mouth shut until it's my time to go. That was a sick goal from JNaps, okay? This is what I love about this area is that you get to enjoy the B stream, the two teams fighting behind me, and you get to enjoy everything that main stage has to offer. Don't forget to tune in for the B stream, my friends, all right? Twitch.tv/RL Esports. I know we're just pacing now, and ready to get back into the next game. So, casters, I'm going to throw it right back to you, okay? Please take it away. Let's do this.
His beloved G2.
Thank you so much, Jorb. He's chilling back there, and why not? G2 looked pretty clean on Forbidden Temple. For Furia, it almost feels like it's a reversion for them. Is that a word? Reversion?
A regression.
A regression. Yes, thank you. But they were so much better on defense, especially watching them in scrims, even against Semper. Their defense wasn't as suspect as we saw here against G2. Even in game one, like Furia sometimes let that ball slip by the third man. So they have to find a way to shore that up.
And perhaps I was a little too harsh on their offense. They did have a couple of great chances. I mean, I completely forgot about that dribble where all they had to do was flick it into a different place and they were going to score. And then immediately after that, they had another open net that they apparently just couldn't reach. So be interesting to see if they continue to get quality opportunities on net like that as Chicago dishes one to Dries, and he comes up empty. He still leaves it for JNaps, and Jan has had all the time in the world to reset himself on the goal line and has no trouble kicking it down the length of the pitch.
I love seeing the levels break down when players are expecting one or two touches. Oh, hang on. G2
Ooh.
Chicago somehow squeezes that one in. Oh, 1-0 G2.
Hello, Chicago. Welcome to Sweden. There's quite an opening goal you've managed to put up there in Game 3. Tight angle right above the corner. Yes, you can have that. You deserve it.
And Fury having a fight from behind again. This is what they're going to constantly be up against when it comes to international competition. Talk about these North American and European teams all the time and their ability to adapt. That's what makes the top teams in the world so difficult to beat. They're going to have to learn to adapt on the fly, and they're absolutely capable of doing it. We've seen this team do it, but G2 is constantly going to challenge them in that respect. They're constantly going to give you different looks. G2, no chance there. It's going to be pushed back out to the side, and Jan will carry it out.
There's a little bit of a defense or mechanical, mishap from Jan, unless otherwise intentional, to allow his teammate to come forward. And you could see trying to get so aggressive there and just beat the G2 defense. Now it's JNap's turn looking for a double tap, and Card not even going to let him think about it.
Oh, Jan, hard touch. Kaio actually wins it completely. And G2 get tied up in the corner. That gives Card a free look, and he only hit it right over to JNaps. Kaio trying to trip him up. But JNaps looking a lot more solid than he did in game number 1 after those few key misses that he had. I don't think he's missed one since. Oh, Kaio, just a little too much juice on that pass.
Oh, but great bounces for him. Not done yet. Card indeed is going to capitalize on the second chance. You can see it was all about how this touch bounces out of this corner here. Goes straight back to Jan. And talk about the early read. That man was up so early. And I don't know how he made that look so easy, because when that ball's traveling horizontally across your plane of vision, to understand how that's going to kick out of that corner from that line is just nuts to me. I mean, that's gorgeous from Jan.
And a quick save as well from Jan. Taking that ball away as well. JNaps loses the 50 to Card. But Chicago keeps it locked down. Dries, nice catch, nice pop. Chicago up for it quickly on the back wall. Chicago, no! He can't get it on target. Card takes it away. Furia looking for a quick transition, but Card takes too long. JNaps is all over him. And Jan trying to keep that ball close and away from Chicago. It's good enough for Kaio. He can recover after that first 50, but G2 went in front. Chicago scores in front of the box.
G2 holding the high ground on 3 challenges in a row. You see Chicago get above, Dries gets above Kaio, and then one more time, Chicago is able to outpace Card to the ball. Not to mention the fact that JNaps also dunked one on the sidewall before that replay even started. Just a great sequence of challenges.
It's been so hard to shake G2 off the ball. Here they come off the kickoff, and the 50 can get Furia reset, but the 50 game has been squarely G2's. Here's another pass in front, but too much on it. JNaps keeps it away. Card wins the 50, but then gets bumped down by Chicago. The rest of G2 retreating, Dries waiting, and JNaps able to come in and win the next 50. JNaps lobs this one up, and Furia have had difficulty getting up in these passing lanes to these high balls to be able to challenge them and put them into clearance areas where G2 have just been swarming in midfield. It's been difficult to get by them. Here's Chicago, nice little flick, but Card's right on top of him. Back over to Kyle.
Gotta love the control from Chicago there, trying to waste time off the clock, and it's starting to feel like FURIA, the only way that they're gonna find themselves outpacing G2 on offense, it seems, is to start making nutty reads on the ball. And that's a tough bar to get over consistently.
Just haven't had that power on offense that we're so used to seeing.
Oh, look at it. See, he's going for it.
He wants it.
He just jumps before he even sees which direction Chicago touches that ball just to try and be the first one to it, to give FURIA a chance to be on time for it.
Card picking up a demo, trying to give FURIA an angle on the counterattack, and they have the ball here, but Chicago's ready for it, kills it back in the corner.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, just a lot of physicality from G2. Bump back and forth, Dree still gets the clear.
I mean, that's the thing. You see that bump on Chicago, and he's still able to recover and just stick the challenge. And how about G2 going to turn in another one?
Chicago picks up the goal here. JNaps gets a great catch that first touch. Jan is frozen on the back wall, and he had no clue where to sit on that challenge. JNaps puts it right over top of him.
I mean, that extra touch from JNaps that just pinches it straight across net. You thought for just a moment they were going to make it up in time to find the clear off the backboard. Just snapped right over their head. Great execution from JNaps.
Struggles continue for FURIA. Jan trying to find Card, and the positioning of the second man from FURIA, they just haven't been in a position to contend with G2. It's always been a clean touch from G2 right over a FURIA car, and they're forced to go back quickly. Kaio's got a little bit of space, forces one off the ball, and the shot right on was Chicago to make the save.
It's great understanding from FURIA. They realized, let the first man go by the ball, your second man's going to pick it up, and your third man's in charge of the follow-through. Unfortunately for them, Chicago had enough time to piece it all together, make a nice stop.
Well, after a rough series yesterday against Sandrock, G2 look much more comfortable, and Drees with a big save, but Card puts one on the board and pull within one.
Certainly doable, 8 seconds on the clock. That's a lot of time to let kickoff go and settle, and Drees really not playing bad defensively there, just kind of following the ball across. Just so happened the shot happened to be slightly behind him, so he couldn't take it with him across the net. FURIA right there for it, and they give themselves a look.
8 seconds, but they're not there, and that one straight off the post, and Card puts it in for Drees, and that one just might do it at the end of game 3.
Oh, it pops up like that, and they miss the bump on Drees. That's the thing that whole kickoff hinges on. Since they both follow up on the kickoff, and Drees isn't able, or Drees is able, excuse me, to get out of the way, put the pressure forward. Tough break for FURIA, and they're still trying to get it with 1 second on the clock, but that one stings a little bit if you're FURIA. You know that G2 is definitely outpacing you, definitely out-challenging you, but you are still keeping it a perfectly winnable game. And when it just comes down to the matter of, okay, they pulled a couple of nice goals out of their hat, it's tough when you know you're playing well and you just don't have enough.
They just don't have the pressure on offense. Like game 2, I felt like they had some quality chances in front of the net despite the loss, but they didn't really have that many breakout opportunities. G2 closed them down every time they tried to break out.
I just saw that 86 score.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
That's not going to get it done.
I didn't even realize that. Like, I mean,
they were so flat. They were so flat on offense in Game 3. Like, they didn't have any real quality opportunities in front of the net. And if you're not forcing G2 to make saves and use boost on their own half, a team that's already good on low boost on defense, you're not going to get anything done against them.
It's true. I'm just surprised. I didn't realize that Kaio just didn't have that much influence on that game. And in a weird type of way, that almost gives me hope, considering that...
that's a weird one.
Well, it's like...
Explain that one.
Well, like in a 2-4 game that felt very manageable, like if Kaio is sitting there putting up 86 score and only registering 1 shot on the scoreboard, and it's that doable, you can feel kind of good. It's like, okay... If we
just 2 more shots and you're looking okay.
If we just get a little bit more out of Kaio, maybe there's something else to expect. Oh my gosh, Jan gets caught on the post. You've got to be joking.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Look, he rotates back. He's like, okay, got to dodge a demo real quick. Almost made it back. Oh, that's tough.
But it's good for G2. Just Jan has to account for that attacker in front. He knows he has to avoid him, has to get over him and try to make that save as well, because the ball's already hurling towards your net. And G2 continue to push Furia back, who struggling on now both ends of the pitch, really. That one just wide, and JNAPS kicks it back out to the corner.
Jan trying to figure out the best place to put that ball. Drees gives Card space, and it's going to pop high above the net. Chicago's errant touch mercifully off target. As here comes Kaio plus the demo. They're going to equalize.
Yeah, that's a good one from Kaio, but really that touch from Jan was so hard, and it kicked. Look at the kick here off of the back wall, and no chance for Chicago to get that one. That's a tough read, and the demo on top of it, ensuring that that ball was going to go into the net.
They might have made it if that demo didn't come through. That ball was well placed, but I think they were about ready to get up for it. Either way, one way or the other, Furia find themselves in the enviable position of equalized, and this is a tough one for them.
Furia, they've had a lot of tough games, individual games against Semper and now G2. They were able to go get 5 against Semper. They're going to need to go 5 here against G2. Here comes a quick one from Kaio, hard off the backboard, but no problem for Drees.
It's a lot to ask out of your South American regional number 1, and Jan will deliver. Things are looking up here in Game 4, and the last time they held the lead, they were able to fend off G2 and find a win. That's exactly what's so important for South America throughout the major. Again, if you perform well here as a region, or as one that doesn't have as many slots as other regions, it's very possible you could earn your region an entire other slot going forward. So a win here against G2 puts them in a great position to try and accomplish that task.
They're certainly up to the challenge. I mean, so many of us were so high on Furia coming into this tournament. It's been a tight one against G2. They're now in position for Game 5. Here's Card off the back wall, and no, he can't. It's bounced off the post, and he could not deliver off the backboard. Here comes Drees on the counterattack. Got the 50 over Jan. Kaio. Oh, that's a tough touch in front of the box. Chicago wasn't ready for it, but JNAPS is there. Jan doesn't need to save it. The post does it for him. Card flips it over, and Furia get out of a tight spot.
Just awkward enough for Kaio there to find that awkward back flipping, or backward facing, front flipping, weak touch over Chicago. Just surprising that it even got that far. He must have really hit that as well as you possibly could. Almost able to turn another one in out of the corner is Jan, and Furia slowly but surely starting to sink their teeth in on offense.
Light touch, and Card's able to handle it. Can't get back to that 50 on Chicago. JNAPS up quickly, but Jan's the faster Card. Card in front, got it against Drees. Kaio keeps it away from Chicago. And Furia, they're still going to have to work for this. Jan underneath, he drops out.
I thought he had that flip reset, and if he did, it could have got real dangerous real quick for G2, and thankfully get a chance to break themselves out, approach the defense from a position of strength. Card has no chance at a double tap. Drees is looking for help. That's a nice give back from Chicago. Unfortunately, he missed the boost on the way. And that's going to waste a few more seconds, but plenty of time here. That's the open net, and Card will deliver.
Card makes sure that one goes in, and G2 can't even break out of midfield. That one cut off by Card again.
What did we say, Jorby? G2 only leaves the open net when a challenge just goes horribly, horribly wrong?
Well, there it is.
There it is. They just tip it forward, and they're like, cool, here we go, and oh, we lost it. That's not good.
Game 5 looking likelier. Likelier for
More likely.
More likely. Well, here's a chance for Drees back over to JNAPS, and he couldn't put it on target.
He's playing the block there on the clear, not necessarily thinking that he's going to have a free shot on target. And that's why that ball gets shot offline.
Kaio kicks this one up high with control, gets over Chicago. JNAPS has to get back quickly. Card has a look. Card back over to Kaio, and Furia take over Game 4.
Tough one to handle for G2 on defense. Now you see JNAPS overcommitting. This isn't an open net because a challenge goes wrong. It's an open net because they have to get aggressive. They have to find 2 goals inside of 90 seconds. That's why they're willing to be more aggressive. And this time, they get a great touch out into the corner. Takes a favorable skip for him as well. The follow-up is there. The lead extends, and Game 4 looking done and dusted.
A good recovery from Furia. You were really starting to scratch your head at the end of Game 3, wondering if they had a chance to come back into this. And, well, they've had a dominant performance here in game number 4. Now it's just about closing it out and moving on to Champions Field for the final. Kyle setting this one up, Card pulling off. And G2, quick counterattack.
Oh,
it's not quite
wow.
over yet. Here comes Drees, and it's saved, pushed again over to the back wall. G2, what would have been the start of a comeback, is denied.
Really great attempt there from G2. Nice couple of moves to get the ball past the midfield line. JNAP's only option towards net. The defense already in position. FURIA doing a nice job to make sure to keep G2 at arm's length here at the end of game 4.
Very fast up to that. Look at Jan go, but he just misses the goal. Card 50 by Drees, and it's taken back to midfield. It was a close one, and FURIA are looking pretty good here near the end of game number 4. Jan cut off by JNAPS in front. Chicago pushing it out, and now you start to ask questions about G2. They have to adapt back to FURIA as we likely here head to Champions Field Achieves. What are you seeing on G2, the number one thing? Give it to me.
Well, the only thing that was really going in the favor of G2 that you think about the earlier games in the series was 100% the challenge game. Absolutely dominating in that regard. Here it kind of starts to equalize out a little bit. Is that necessarily FURIA definitely outplaying G2? No, not exactly. I think it's really just FURIA managed to get themselves out into a lead, didn't have to take as many chances, and then they were able to capitalize on a couple of more opportunities that came their way while keeping G2 out of the net. So, I mean, if you want G2 to be successful in Game 5, you really just have to get them out in front on top of FURIA's challenge game, and to me, that's it. I think if FURIA gets out-challenged in Game 5, they just lose, because they just don't have the ability to really press when they need to press, because G2 knows that they don't have to stretch too hard if they get out in front early. Yeah,
I mean, G2 have been good at killing those 50s when they have won them, and so many of these games this week so far have come down to 50-50s, because we always talk about players' mechanical ability or players' ability to pass the ball, team synergy, but none of it matters if you end up losing your 50s. And each one of these games, I feel like we're saying, oh, they got out-challenged, and that is the sole reason why everything snowballs, and then that team wins the game. That has been this whole series so far.
It's because they're both so willing to be aggressive, and when you're trying to stretch the possession as far as you possibly can, as we get into Game 5 Champions Field, driven by Ford, we will see if that's going to find itself into the back. Kaio's going to turn in another one.
Kaio puts this one in the back of the net, wins a massive 50. Card gets another 50, and Kaio is ready for it in front of the box. Top corner for FURIA.
Wow. Hello. 8 seconds in. Wasn't ready for that. I needed a moment to sit down and settle in for this one, Jeremy. That one came at me too fast.
Two solid 50s from FURIA, and the ball's in the back of the net, Achieves. That's been the story of this one. Champions Field. Here's Drees. Cards flips that one underneath, and trying to beat JNAPS to the ball. A gritty series so far. JNAPS trying to get around Jan, but Jan gets the touch. No one around FURIA that can't follow that one up, but Card is right on top of it. Now, how does Chicago keep this ball away? Well, he gets over Kaio. JNAPS wins the next touch forward. Can he get one out in front of the box? He can't get a pass. Card stays behind that ball, but the 50 is Drees'.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. That's what?
Whoa,
oh my
whoa.
gosh, everyone comes up empty. I would love to see that from Card's perspective if he just absolutely faked out Chicago right there, but I only
Riskiest fake of your life.
I only get one look at it, unfortunately, as a second shot from G2 turned aside.
Well, yeah, your Card didn't intentionally fake it, but, you know, that's still, you hold your breath when that ball is sailing across your box like that. And G2 gonna push again here, but Kaio able to throw that ball high into the corner. Drees is ready for it, and Card gets the save. G2 not done yet. JNAPS gets around this ball in the corner, flips it around Kaio. JNAPS still in control.
Jan.
JNAPS, big muscles for Chicago. G2 get the goal.
This is great challenge game from Chicago, but you can see the overextension from Jan just a little. He overjumps that so high as JNAPS is bringing that ball around the corner. And if he doesn't go up so much as he goes out and challenges JNAPS, that probably doesn't happen. I mean, it's a small thing, but that absolutely let him just muscle that through the line.
Those small things add up, and in a game like this where you're talking pixels of a difference between winning a challenge and the ball being in the back of your net, that kind of difference absolutely matters. FURIA losing the ball here. G2 got a shot, and it's off the post. And G2, that's a massive opportunity to take the lead.
Trying to place it in the optimal spot, takes a hard ricochet off the corner of the net. Devastating for Drees, but still plenty of fight in G2 here. That was quite an attempt from Jan there, going for a worldie of a redirect.
Here's Card. Oh, JNAP's just trying to keep that close, but he has to pull out of the rotation. Drees next up, and he's got the touch underneath. Here comes Drees. He's got the boost. Underneath, can't get the 50. JNAP's pushing this ball again, but Jan takes it away from him, gets it back to Card.
Great pass, but too far. Chicago well aware of how that was going and the pressure on Jan looking for the demo. JNAP's not able to get the touch he wanted towards net. Well in time was Jan on defense, and FURIA going to have to readjust an awkward accidental double touch from Kaio in the G2 corner.
Next up is Jan, quick off the sidewall. He goes for the bump, and Kaio's in front. Kaio gets the goal. FURIA on top.
FURIA says, Chicago, we see what you're trying to do, and we'll show you how to do it. Jan, get out of here, JNAPS. Opens the door wide. Kaio to deliver, and pressure on G2 here.
Well, we have had 5 solid rounds of boxing between these two, and it really is a scrum in front of the box to get these goals. There are no freebies. There's no chance for style in this game. You gotta win your 50. You gotta force that ball in, but you also gotta be careful. Both of these teams have let one slip by their third man. They gotta make sure, FURIA, they have a chance at this. They gotta make sure that third man is clean. But here comes King Card, and he just can't get it. It's a good save from G2. Kaio gonna flip it back across. He's gonna get a boost steal on top of it. Actually, he's gonna take it himself. Card comes out of the rotation, and Drees will pull the ball away.
Like that aggression from Drees to get out there early, force FURIA to show their hand. JNAP's trying to go for that bump and open up a little extra space for G2 to operate. Errant pass from FURIA, though. They definitely need to take a little extra time to reset here, but they end up just giving the ball away to G2.
Good pop for G2.
Oh,
They're past 2 defenders. Here comes JNAPS. One touch, 2 touches in front of the box. Chicago can't get there in time. And Drees pushing that ball up to the side. And he's able to keep the push alive for G2, but they're waiting beyond midfield. Chicago, aggressive positioning, and he couldn't get around it. Now Kaio's got a chance, and he... Well,
not a bad touch, actually. It's towards his team. It's awkward, and the bumps on JNAPS. Unfortunately, not able to take him across the net or remove him from the pitch entirely. There's an awkward line as Card down into his own corner, looking for help. It's not going to arrive in time. Chicago turns in the equalizer.
Oh, Card in the corner here. How does he see this one? He jumps up early for the read, and that's not the best touch for Kaio. He wasn't ready for that bounce, and Kaio has to make that touch, but wasn't expecting that kind of touch from Card.
Awkward to be sure. Not the best touch from Card. Not the worst. Could have just popped straight back mid. Definitely gave his teammate a look at it, but you're right. 100% awkward, and G2, they are given one to let them back in the game as Kaio here in the one-on-one. Great pass to Card. He's so close. And Drees, perfect read.
Oh, Kaio gonna have to pull out. Here comes Chicago down the field. Jan needs a good touch. He gets one. Back over to the side. G2, JNAPS, hard shot off the crossbar. Chicago got the boost, got the catch, but can't win that 50 against Card. Here comes Drees to support. Kaio flips that one back around, forces JNAPS to go lateral. Jan forced off the ball as well, and Card gonna let Kaio take that.
Smart. They are well aware that despite the pressure you'll find yourself in, as this one's going to kick down in front of the net, there is Kaio trying to muscle it home. No dice, and this is a race back for FURIA here.
This game is speeding up. Card stays in front of that ball. Dangerous to take it across the box, but not many options. End of regulation looming. Chicago in front, and Kaio gets the ball. G2 forced to play defense at the end. Nice. Drees gives it back over to Kaio. In a tough spot, and it falls in front of the box. We're in overtime in Game 5.
Oh, G2 gave me a heart attack. I was like thinking, how can you just let that one go across your net for free? The kickoff for OT gonna favor FURIA, but can they hang on to the ball?
Downfield, here comes G2. Drees pops it up high. This is a chance, but Kaio's there. Card gets it back over to the corner, but the double commit might put FURIA out of position for a little bit. That touch actually gives Card an angle out. JNAPS gives Drees the angle back in to go to the blue half.
This game is all about the misdirection at this point. Both teams trying to jump up in the air, make it look like they're attempting, see if they can get the defense to second guess themselves and let a second teammate come through for a chance. Kaio dished out for the middle. Yo! Cannot convert!
That's the biggest chance you're gonna get against G2. You have to convert that. If you're Jan, they have to try find a way to create another opportunity now. Here's Jan again. Gonna push that ball out quickly, but a massive opportunity blundered by FURIA.
They missed the bump as well, and G2 cannibalizing the space, and that forced demo on Chicago will give it right back in favor of FURIA. Drees just gonna stick one in the corner here and hope everything can settle down for a moment.
Nice pass over in front to Card, forces JNAPS to make the save he can. Card steals the boost away, and Jan takes the ball. Kaio's got the shot! FURIA have done it! They have won in Game 5! They take down G2!
What a show from FURIA. Difficult and sticky would not go away, and they finally find retribution in games 4 and 5, converting a gorgeous opportunity in overtime after devastatingly giving up what you thought should have been guaranteed. And what a well-deserved win for them. We wanted a little more out of Kaio from Game 3 where he gave us 86 score. How about a Hattie in Game 5 and 650 points?
Oh, man, Furia, they got to be elated right now. After a tough series against Semper, it didn't go their way in 5, and they had to go to Champions Field again. This team has withstood tons of pressure. They're sent into the hype chamber this time. Their first time in the hype chamber in Game 5. Nothing but fist bumps and good energy from Furia.
And you got to think for G2, definitely a couple of their own chances just off the mark in that Game 5 as well. It was pixels, the difference between victory and defeat here. And that's a tough one to lose.
G2 have really had a rough day so far at the Fall Major. They've lost to Sandrock, and now they drop to Furia in 5. The Swiss Abyss continues. Who's our next encounter? Well, we got plenty more action after the break.